I always hear the same couple of responses when people talk about the greatest Five Nights at Freddy's fan games. The joy of creation, pop goes, candies, and many other games are common answers. All of these projects have a long history and have amassed strong and loyal fan bases. Albeit, these games are also part of the officially sanctioned Fazbear fanverse. Don't shoot me for bringing up the fanverse, I do not want to go to HE double hockey sticks. However, I believe that talking about the same few fan games so frequently creates a strange bubble that causes people to ignore the work of some of the other fan games from the same era that haven't received as much attention. Whether it be for lack of new entries or just being extremely old, a lot of these classics haven't been thought of in a while. But there is one FNAF fan game that I think has the perfect amount of charm, creative gameplay mechanics, a story that is way too good for what it's supposed to be, and it's also kind of scary. I'm not lying when I say that I used to play this game and it genuinely scared me and my friends. This game had such an impact on my childhood and made me forever fearful when I see the color yellow. And that game is Five Nights at Wario's 3. Yeah, you're gonna think I'm joking, but no, I remember this game being really effective in what it wants to do. So join me as we find out if this underrated classic holds up, and if it was really as scary as I remember. You play as a new employee named Edward Coleman, working for a security company nearby the Wario establishments from the first two games. We were called to watch over a mansion by a man named Richard McRoy, telling us that the family that lives there is on vacation. More on that later. You get called by one of our head employees at the security company, Max Peterson, who warns us about the supposed and rumored things lurking in the house, such as the fact that it was haunted by ghosts. These ghosts being our animatronic replacements. The characters in this game are Mario characters, if it wasn't obvious, taking their models from Super Smash Bros. Brawl. As opposed to the previous games just giving the characters white eyes, this game adds some interesting design details. Wario's head is a skull with black and purple eyes and a bony arm. Luigi has a stretched nose with black eyes and is covered in bloodstains. Mario has white glowing eyes with no face aside from his mustache. Yoshi has no pupils and is also covered in bloodstains. Donkey Kong was left in the microwave for way too long, and it actually looks like one of those little evil Doki Doki Literature Club cartoon poem girl things. I played this game for the first time in a couple years, like how you should play any fan game, in a Discord call with friends. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting Pastra and Mr. Springs, who are barely in this video, but they played this with me, so they deserve a mention.
You know, okay, can I just say though, like, it's kind of weird. This game's entire visual aesthetic is just a bunch of PNGs they ripped off of Google, but there's something oddly, like, I don't know, like, cozy about it.
It looks like the basement at my old house. I hate you, Chris.
During gameplay, you have to check between the PNGs of the mansion. After a couple seconds, the camera will run out of battery and you'll need to recharge it. But that's not it, because here's the fun part. You play in a different location every night. I reached out to the creator of this game and the Five Nights at Wario series, WwwWario, to ask him some things about the development, the history, and what he thinks about this game nowadays, and here's what he said about this. I think it was mostly just to change up the formula. I thought, what if we're not in the office this time? And when it became a living room, it made sense to also use other rooms. In the first night, you play in the living room. If a spirit appears in your left doorway, you have to look away. If they appear in the mirror, you have to pull up your camera. For the second night, you may choose to hide in the kitchen or the bathroom. In the kitchen, you must light up the oven only when you are sure there is an enemy in the room. If no one is there when the oven is lit, well then someone's just gonna rush into your room, resulting in a game over. In the bathroom, there's a medicine cabinet you can open. Inside, there are 3 types of pills. Long sight pills, which prevent you from viewing the monitor while still being able to see the room. Short sight pills, which prevent you from seeing the room while still being able to see the monitor. And paralysis pills will make you unable to move left or right, but you can still check the monitor or take other pills. However, the biggest downside with the paralysis pills is that it prevents you from turning left to grab a new pill from the medicine cabinet when it's done charging. Taking any of the pills will get rid of Yoshi or Ashley, the only active characters on this night, if they are standing in the bathroom doorway. WwwWario told me he doesn't like this mechanic, among others, because he feels it doesn't flow well. It's worth noting that your choice will determine the room you hide in for night 3 and 4. Choosing the kitchen will allow you to hide in either the living room 2 or the bedroom on night 3, and the hallway or playroom for night 4. Choosing the bathroom will allow you to hide in either the staircase or bedroom 2 on night 3, and living room 3 or the laundry for night 4. That's a lot to talk about, so here, let me break it down. In living room 2, or the old living room, you must look away if Wario appears on the left side of the room, similar to night 1. You can use the light button to put light in the room in front of you to stop Waluigi. Every time you use the light, you must charge the generator up all the way, which is found in the laundry. In the bedroom, the camera has unlimited power, but some cameras will have their video feed flipped upside down for some reason. You can use a lamp to check for characters inside the room. If they are seen behind the curtain, you have to keep the lamp on until they leave. Thankfully, the lamp has unlimited power that doesn't have to be recharged in any way. In the hallway, all of your cameras are blacked out, leaving only your audio. You must listen carefully for their locations. If you hear Mario's audio cue, a music box version of the Super Mario Bros. Theme, in bedroom 2, then you must close the door to the right. If you hear Luigi's breathing in the laundry, then you close the door behind you. And if you hear Waluigi's footsteps in living room 2, then close the door to your left. In the playroom, you must survive by keeping 2 music boxes wound up the entire night. While one can be wounded from a random room on the monitor, like in FNAF 2, one can be wounded from inside your room. If the music boxes aren't kept wound up, Yoshi and Wario rush through the rooms and enter the playroom to kill you. Otherwise, the only ghost you have to worry about is Mario, who slowly approaches you from the TV screen until finally entering your room, very similar to the first Five Nights at Wario's. You need to quickly raise the monitor after he enters in order to get Mario back to his starting position. If your monitor runs out of power, yeah, you're doomed. He'll kill you. In the staircase, you can use your white hands to protect yourself. If a ghost appears on the top floor, you need to cover your face, which will temporarily blind you but also make the ghost go away. You also have to use the monitor to get rid of Wario when he appears in Living Room 2's camera. Just watch him until he leaves from the left. Bro, get out. Get out. Christopher. No. Wait, what? Did he just moonwalk? Did he just moonwalk out of there?
He was Michael Jackson.
I can't believe Christopher was secretly Wario was secretly Michael Jackson. I can't believe it.
Wait, no, he's totally Michael Jackson.
Oh shoot, I seen someone! In the bedroom 2, you can tap the camera screens to create a static sound. This is the only way to force Wario back into his position. Donkey Kong will appear on the cameras randomly. Quickly flip the cameras down or switch cameras if you see him. If he appears in the room, flip the cameras up, similar to Phantom Balloon Boy. In the Living Room 3, you can cut the lights in any camera Yoshi and Waluigi aren't in. This blocks their path and acts as a wall. However, only one light can be off at any time. As the phone call states, the clock will scare Yoshi and Waluigi out of the room every hour, but it's difficult to use it effectively as it comes down to timing. However, if you manage to have the clock scare a ghost who's in your room, you can breathe a sigh of relief. In the laundry, you need to pay attention to the breathing sounds, as they indicate that someone has entered the room. This one's kinda confusing. You'll need to have the washing machine on when Mario is close, but you'll be unable to hear Waluigi and Luigi. If Luigi enters the room, you must quickly look to the left and right of the room. If Waluigi enters the room, you must stay perfectly still. You can't see anyone enter the room when you are inside, as Mario, Luigi, and Waluigi attack you from behind. Mario moves quickly throughout the rooms if the washing machine is off for a length of time. Have it switched on as often as possible to keep him from getting to you. Mario won't move as long as the washing machine is turned on, so use this to your advantage. If Mario moves to a room, he's gonna stay there or just keep going. It's important to keep the machine on for him. Nearing the end of the night, I just stopped moving and just won somehow. On night 5, you're in a cellar. The only thing you can view on the monitor this time is the cellar you're in. Although this is the room where you hide in, the monitor, which now has a glow-in-the-dark feature, is used to view the enemies inside the room, which you can't normally see. The monitor dies quickly on this night, and you need that thing, so you're gonna have to use that charge camera button extensively. Wario and Luigi will appear in the room's far left and right corners respectively, and Waluigi will appear in the doorway in the center. You have to move to the right if Wario is visible on the left, and vice versa for Luigi. If Waluigi appears in the center, you have to flash electricity. It's important to note that several ghosts can show up at once. In the event that Wario and Luigi show up on either side, you must swiftly move between left and right to get rid of them. If all 3 enemies show up at once, you have to use the flash electricity command to frighten Waluigi first, then move left and right to frighten Wario and Luigi. Once you beat this night, you realize you didn't beat the game at all. But to make sense of this, we have to delve into the lore. If there's one thing I knew about Five Nights at Wario's, it was the lore. Wario and Waluigi once owned a small cafe that got popular, and due to the success and money, they decided to build a fast food factory. They built their factory on top of some old, ancient, ruined buildings. They realized it was too much work for the two of them, and they eventually hired Mario, Luigi, and Peach, but it was too late. The factory wasn't making as much income as Wario thought, and he was in too deep. One day, while he was leaving the factory, Wario noticed an old book buried in the dirt. He opened it to find out that it was an ancient book about demonic rituals and revealed that the factory was built upon the remains of a witch's common. Wario, being the money-hungry dirtbag that he is, decided to use one of the rituals and sold his and his co-worker's soul to demonic forces in exchange for riches. Then Wario just straight up tells no one about this. One day, a man named Bruno Gadd decided to break in and try and steal the hamburger recipe. He found a promotional Wario Man costume and used it to disguise himself. He then killed Wario and his co-workers and fled the scene with no recipe. The now dead souls fell victim to the demonic curse. The souls returned to their bodies, filled with grief and hatred and wanting revenge. The only way to defeat the curse was to overcome the grief. Rosalina, who was watching over everything, knew that they wouldn't stop killing even if they killed the murderer. So she created a portal to send the spirits back in time before Wario created the curse, hoping to undo it. However, this created a paradox as the curse transcended time and space, with it still being attached to the souls. The spirits would roam around numerous locations with their normal, still alive counterparts. All the events would take place in the timeline, and Bruno Gadd once again tried to steal the hamburger recipe. He once again killed the 5 workers and then finally found the recipe. These souls went to a heavenly place. However, the cursed spirits who had been following the events possessed these bodies and brought them back to life. They then used their newly possessed bodies to kill Bruno, but that didn't stop the curse. Bruno's spirit would also stay around due to his overwhelming grief. They would continue to hunt anyone who looked like their killer, including the night guard from Five Nights at Wario's 1, Richard McRoy. Remember him? As Wario started cursing other people's souls like Donkey Kong, Yoshi, and Ashley, Luigi started to possess Richard. During Five Nights at Wario's 2, Richard called our player character Thomas Taylor to give him advice during the nights. By the end of the week, Luigi fully possessed Richard, causing Thomas to trust him less and less, reporting him to the police. With Richard on the run, Luigi returns to his body while Peach takes over possessing Richard. While planning their next move, Bowser, who burnt down the Five Nights at Wario's 2 location and who was also cursed by Wario, accidentally spit fire at Wario, burning the skin of his face off. They found out that Edward Coleman, remember our player character, started working for a security company nearby and used this to their advantage. Richard McRoy called Edward and told him they had a job for him, to watch a mansion while a family was on vacation. Wario and the rest of his crew went to the house to try and kill Edward. Luckily, the guard managed to survive for several nights by hiding in different rooms of the house. The reason he didn't leave is because the spirits were causing him to hallucinate there was no exit. At this point, the soul of Bruno Gadd realized what he had done. Bruno set out to apologize to the spirits. While Bruno knew the street the house was on, he wasn't sure about the specific residence. He looked and looked, but he never found them. At the end of the week, Richard McRoy came over to the house himself and killed Edward, who was down in the cellar. On his way there, he also killed Max Peterson, the game's phone guy and our co-worker. That part kinda sucked, I love that guy. Peach then left Richard's body and went back in her own, and Wario and the other 4 went on as planned. This is the game's bad ending, and at this point Rosalina thought this had to be stopped. She created another portal and sent them all the way back to the first Wario's Cafe. This created a time loop. This loop could only be stopped by lifting the curse. The only person who could break the loop was us, Edward Coleman. During Five Nights at Wario's 3, pieces of a music box can be found in different locations, the living room, the bathroom, etc. We, Edward Coleman, assembled all the pieces of this music box and played it in the cellar. This alerted Bruno, who was looking for the spirits outside, into the house. Bruno traveled to the cellar, where he finally once again encountered those he had killed. Bruno apologized and asked for forgiveness, which broke the witch's curse and freed the 5 souls.
This is your last warning! Put your hands above your head now!
Richard McRoy was finally returned to normal, but as he tries to escape this poor mess he had nothing to do with, the police find him and shoot him to death after he tried running from the cops. The curse on the other cursed spirits was also lifted thanks to this forgiveness. The souls were now at peace, as was Bruno Gadd's spirit, and the ancient evil that started on the grounds of Wario's fast food factory hundreds of years ago was never found, and Rosalina saw no reason to loop time again. Life in this Mushroom Kingdom slowly returned to normal. I can't believe I talked that long. Oh my god. Okay, I have a couple things to say. The collecting of the music box parts is a clever idea, but I don't like its execution. You can't get the entire music box on one playthrough. You need to do more than one because pieces of the music box appear in certain rooms, and you can't play every single room in one playthrough. You can make the same argument for FNAF 3 and its good ending, but here's the thing, I didn't ask. That being said, I still like the music box idea, and so does WwwWario, saying, I think it needed something to bring all characters together, and a familiar tune made sense at the time. There is also one thing I want to address in this game, the visuals. The Photoshop stock image style of the Five Nights at Wario series is iconic, and I do like this style, but I just find this game in particular just looks really bad.
Why is the text so crunchy?
Donkey Kong in particular just looks like a really bad 2009 YouTube thumbnail with the extra white pixels still left over. Wario's skull, while being a cool idea, is just really low poly and it looks kinda strange. WwwWario said he started editing the models without any plan and seeing what came out of them. My main thing is just this game's resolution just seems lower, and I'm playing full screen, so that's not it. The jump scares are like weirdly compressed while also like not being, like they look like rectangles while also not being compressed, but maybe compressed. Five Nights at Wario's 1 and 2 seem to genuinely look better. I have my own theory for the compression. This could possibly be a UCN sort of thing due to the extra offices and numerous characters and cutscenes. The image files had to be lower quality? Maybe? WwwWario said he would brush up the graphics a lot if he went back and changed things. That being said, he still loves this game. I think Five Nights at Wario's 3 was the most exciting one to make. I listened to the music box tunes from Five Nights at Freddy's 3 while making it. That sense of melancholic mystery was so exciting to me. 5 Shows of Warriors was also a blast to make. Origins may have been my least favorite during the development due to difficult ideas. Speaking of development, this game was developed in 2 months. That's honestly incredibly impressive and really commendable. I also asked WwwWario if he ever wanted to make a remake of the game or an original game for the fanverse. He says he would love to make a fanverse game, but he doesn't think he has the talent for it. I personally disagree. I've seen some of your new games, so like, I disagree. And as for the remake, he says, maybe. And that was Five Nights at Wario's 3. Is it as scary as I remember? No. But I will admit, playing this at night on very little sleep with a turtle and a pasta monster was making me a little spooked out. It's also a lot easier than I remember, but that's probably because I sucked at video games as a kid. And still kind of do, but like whatever. This game may have not aged as well as some of the other Fangames, but it's still a solid time with an incredibly creative story, lacking yet still charming visuals, and some really neat game mechanics. The switching between rooms was ahead of its time, and still is one of the best executions of this idea. Five Nights at Wario's would go on to have more entries, including Five Nights at Wario's Origins, Five Nights at Wario's 4, and 5 Shows at Wario's. And as of the day I'm writing this, WwwWario put out a new video explaining the Five Nights at Wario's storyline. If the story I've told you today doesn't match up, this was the story as these games were coming out years ago. I haven't been keeping up with the series much, so this is just what I remember and how the story was back in the day. I just wanted to say a big thank you to WwwWario for giving me the chance to speak with him for a little bit about this game series that had such an impact on my childhood. You should absolutely check out his channel, he makes great content and great games. Also a nice little thanks to my friends Pastra and Mr. Springs for playing this with me. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you again soon.
Pizza?